Hey, so I felt called to ayahuasca again after almost exactly 2 years, and I didn't know why, but I'm so glad. I'm so glad I was. It was it was like at least three ceremonies in one. I didn't even do the second ceremony because it was just like my little system had already been. Okay, where do I start? So for one thing, I hopefully I can watch this video maybe at least once a week because even though I can never lose eternity, I can forget it. And hopefully this can point me back because this is more than before. I'm probably there's like God knows how many precipices to fall over, but this feels like a big one. Um, and yeah, like I mean, what Aya does is it shows you your shadow. It puts it right in your face, right? And this time it really did not hold back at all, in several different ways. So yeah, so first of all, it wasn't actually ayahuasca. Well, it was ayahuasca, but instead of chacruna, apparently the chacruna got confiscated, and so they used mimosa instead, which also has DMT in it. So a little bit different mix than what I had in Peru. Um, And so, in Peru, as far as I remember, we got like a half an ounce uh, as kind of the base dose, and maybe another quarter of an ounce or something if we wanted to go again. And it was always very delayed for me, which I should have remembered, but anyway, glad I didn't. So yeah, so they gave me 2 ounces of this stuff, and I was thinking like, well, if they're so offhandedly giving me 2 ounces of this stuff, it must be diluted or something, right? So I downed it, and it was pretty um, pungent. It was much less pleasant than what we had in Peru, but it was okay. And they gave us little gin to take a little tiny corner of it just to kind of get the taste out of our mouth. And surprisingly, I wasn't nauseated at all. Uh, and like an hour passed, and nothing much. So they're like, "Hey, anybody want another dose?" And by the way, most of the people, like, there were supposed to be 5 people at the ceremony. 3 people canceled at the last minute, so it was me and one other guy. And so it was almost like a private ceremony, which was a good thing, it turned out. Um, but anyway, yeah, there were some fireworks, let's just say. But I was like, yeah, give me some more. Why not? So they gave me like another ounce and a half or so, and I took that down, and I'm like, all right, okay, here we go. Um, And honestly, I didn't even expect much because you just never know with this one. It can be pretty much nothing but nausea for 4 hours with a voice talking to you, or can like be like this sort of, yeah, anyway. You never know. So, but whatever. Okay, it happened. That was the next thing and it happened. So, some time passed and it got to like, a thing that I kind of knew I needed to work on, which is really, really viscerally feeling myself as a very young child, bewildered and sad and, all the things little kids can feel when, and sometimes there's just not adults around to help them co-regulate. Uh, so it just gets trapped in little bodies. And I know I've got lots of stuff trapped in my body. Um, so it was just, yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything super specific, but it was just a visceral sense of a small child and just like, I think it started with this lake of like sadness, and it was just this ache that was so deeply. How did I put it? It was so deeply beautiful, and it was such a relief to just feel it, just all the way into this sadness, and I could kind of see the glistening of the medicine, the medicine, it glistens, um, and that plus the sadness, just, oh, this visceral sadness, just the pathos of it. It was so beautiful. And, there were kind of Icaros going, and my little one just uh, was desperate for something familiar, not somebody else's Icaros, but like my little girl Icaros. So I went up and like, can you play something really comforting for a very young Caucasian child? I don't know if that's appropriate, but that's what I said. Um, and she's like what? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Morning Has Broken by Cat Stevens. So when the next Icaro was over, they played Cat Stevens, and yeah, I just cried so sweetly with this little bitty girl, and it was very sweet. Um, and not easy. And sadness is sadness. It was easeful in a way, because you kind of like breathe away the aversion a little bit, and it just is what it is. And it's just it wants to be felt, and it's felt, and there's something beautiful about it. And there was also, and this comes up again later, but there was also some anger at like, why are things like this? Why do little kids have such a hard time sometimes and nobody can help them, or nobody's around to help them, or nobody knows how to help them? And even that anger is kind of raw and satisfying. It's just like you're right in there with it. Um, yeah. So, um, yeah. So that one, and then there's some other sweet songs, and it was very sweet. But then, like out of nowhere, absolutely all hell broke loose. So first of all, reality shattered into just shards of, I don't even want to say fractals. It wasn't even, you couldn't even pinpoint fractals. It was just chaos, kind of shapes, but kind of shapes and colors, but in a way that, I mean, I had no body. I mean, I was not aware of any body. It was just, and you know how the visual field, like in the screen, it has height and width, right? But this visual field somehow had texture. I don't even know how I could sense the texture of it, but it wasn't it wasn't like a screen like it is with the eyes. It was, oh God, it was just just reality ripped apart, ripped into shreds. Oh, just from like um I mean, yeah, you couldn't say anything about it. And there was no mind per se. There was awareness, but no mind. So let me see what I wrote down. It was this eternal present moment with no pretense of being able to grasp anything, remember anything, predict anything, or imagine anything else. So it was like there was this, whatever reality was being experienced was all, was the sum total of like, there was no pretense of anything else existing or potentially existing. And so in a way it felt like eternity. And spending sorry, yeah, it really messed with me. And I might have some tics still, and that's okay. Not in a bad way. It's just like, so much energy. It's great. It feels good. It feels alive. More alive than I've ever felt. So, still adjusting. It's okay. So, so yeah, reality was shattered into shatteredness. I mean, you can't say anything about it. And looking back, it's kind of like I mean, I made a joke afterwards. I was like, it was ayahuasca just saying, "Hey, I'm just showing you my crib. It's all good," you know. But of course, there was something trying to grasp, trying to orient, trying to understand. It was faint, but it was there. And so it cast this thing that could have been simply fascinating. It cast it in kind of a little an aversive light. And I mean, an aversive, yeah, an aversive. There was an aversion to it. Just because like something in me wants to grasp, wants to understand, wants to orient. And, uh, and I could not. It was not on the table. And because time had absolutely no meaning, because I couldn't remember anything, it just shattered and shattered and shattered, and there was nothing to, um, and there were no entities that I could see. There were no animals. There was no structures. It was complete, complete chaos. Maybe triangles, like kind of shards of like, yeah, I don't know. I couldn't even identify colors or anything. It was just pure chaos. And, in a sense, it was terrifying. In another sense, I mean, there's, like, there's a part of me that was terrified. There's a part of me that's like, it's just plant medicine, it's not going to hurt you, it's going to pass. Um, and these weren't coherent thoughts. These were like pre-thoughts, impressions almost, Um, yeah, not really thoughts, not really feelings, tinges, and none of them, they couldn't be grasped either. It was just, the ungraspability is indescribable. It was in a way similar to with the 5-MeO DMT. There's a sense in which it was incompatible with human life. Like it wasn't, it's a different thing. Well, thing. I don't know. I don't know what it was, but, and maybe incompatible with human life is just like another pre-thought that wasn't necessary. I don't know. Um, but yeah, it was very, very, very alien, very chaotic. And because time had no meaning, it was like, for all I knew, I was stuck there for eternity. It was like each moment was eternity because I couldn't, time couldn't be grasped. The passage of time, the sense of a passage of time was not there. Every single moment was so new, so ungraspable, so chaotic that the, you know, in ordinary consciousness, there appears to be something that led up to this moment, something like a trace that you can remember what happened leading up to this moment, and there's a sense that you can predict what's going to happen next. Like I'm making a video, right? I turn the video on. I'm talking. I'm going to keep talking for a while. I'm going to turn the video off, right? Uh, that's what I remember. That's what I predict. There was nothing like that in this reality. Um, it was a lot. But what can you do? It's going to do what it's going to do. And eventually, the next thing I remember is somehow, even though I was in some different dimension, I knew enough to pull my hair back and grab the bucket and purge into it. And the purging felt so wonderful. And it didn't feel like a human body vomiting. It felt like, okay, this time there was like kind of like a triangular sunburst around my visual field. And it was like purging from the bottom third of that visual field, just like coming out. And it felt so good. And uh, And right now I'm looking at the sun, a little spot of sunlight reflecting on my computer, and it looks psychedelic. And I don't know if I'm still in the medicine a little bit or if that's how it always is and I just don't remember. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, yeah, purging. So, yeah, I don't know. Like, of course, I didn't know what I was purging, what was being taken out of my system, but it felt like some kind of magical spell and an exorcism of a kind where I didn't know what was going on. It wasn't my doing. It wasn't my business in a way. It was just like it was just happening, and it was beautiful. And and getting out of just yeah, purge, beautiful word right now. Um, and the next thing I remember is, let me see, I gotta make some notes. Yeah, so the next part was the longest part, the part where I got crazy, where um, I was back in my body and back in the room in a way. Um, but my hands were just kind of like they were like fractal hands, and I didn't really have control over myself most of the time, and I was being kind of a brat in a way, like I and at one point, like every now and then I'd get kind of lucid and be like, can somebody take a video of this? I want to know what it looks like when, but nobody did. I think it's, I don't think they take requests under the influence seriously, but it would have been interesting to, I mean, they all know I don't know exactly what it looked like, but I remember saying things like, I'm being crazy. And then like, I'm sorry. Like, I'm not trying to cause drama. It's not me. I'm not doing this. It's making me blah. You know, I was just like, I was the other person who was with, you know, the other journeyer. He called it fireworks. He was like, then the fireworks started. So I had an adult tantrum, I guess. It's one of those things where like 3 years ago, if that had happened, I would be humiliated. I would like never show my face again. I would just like pack my bags and leave. I'd be like, oh my God, I was right. I shouldn't even have been born. I'm such a loser and a weirdo. Um, and you know, in this case, it's just like I didn't make that happen. I didn't ask for that to happen. I I did my best. It was what it was. They don't seem to be judgmental. If they are judgmental, that's their deal. They can do that. They're totally allowed, welcome, whatever. They do whatever they do. And meanwhile, for me, like I'm right here. That's in the past. It's gone. And it's you know it's not in a sense of like, oh, if I inconvenience them, I don't care because I mean, yeah, if I had really like I don't know started a fire or some like crazy, really crazy stuff, I would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, and I would like you know do what I could to repair that thing that hurt that I caused. But apparently I didn't actually hurt anyone. And, you know, afterwards you know, they were laughing and they were like, yeah, that's kind of a 4 out of 10. You're good. You know, like they've seen some stuff. Um, uh, so yeah, I mean, like it's all good, uh, but it kind of showed me to my face, like that I'm so afraid of doing the wrong thing. I'm constantly looking outside for confirmation I'm okay. And that was another thing. I'm like, is this okay? Is it okay that I'm doing this? You know, I I was worried about being improper, you know, because like when I was a kid, it was like, be still, be quiet, don't feel anything, um, be a good girl, and I was not being a good girl. I was being pain in the ass. That's my interpretation right now. Um, and it was like they were so freaking cool about it. Like they were amazing. And I was like, it was like all of my insecurities and all of my uh, neuroses were just right there, out. And they were cool about it. Like it was like they didn't judge me, they didn't belittle me, they didn't dismiss me, they didn't. I mean, even if they had, that's their business. So it was so. I mean, there was a little bit of a cringiness to it while it was happening and afterwards. Um, but right now, it's just funny. It's funny and it's sweet and it's amazing because kind of being in a space where I could just really be the pain in the ass I'm afraid of being and be kind of mothered through it. It was amazing. You know, being the weirdo, insecure pain in the ass that I'm afraid of being. And I was totally accepted. I mean, at least apparently, maybe again, maybe like it's always possible that I'm fooling myself and that or that they fooled me. But even if so, like I don't really care. It doesn't matter. It's out of my like it got out of my system. And the fact that they're kind, it's a bonus because that was they seem like genuine people who understand that humans are like this. Humans are a little crazy. Humans are a pain in the ass sometimes. And I remember saying at one time, like, I was supposed to be immature when I was 3. Um, Another time they were like, because I guess I was getting really out of hand. Not that I was like knocking shit over, or hitting anybody or like, it wasn't like that. Um, I was just being a tangerine pain in the ass, right? And they were like, here, take this lime in your mouth, it'll ground you. And I was like, I don't want to ground, you know. If you're cringing on my behalf, I understand. I probably would have done the same, and that's okay. And I don't care. It's good for me. It's awesome. Um, yeah, and there was also a sense of constantly trying to orient um, and failing. Um, okay, let me go back. Yeah, there was a sense that I'm so afraid of doing the wrong thing. I'm constantly looking outside for confirmation that I'm okay, and I was like, is this okay? Is it okay that I'm like this? Um, it's like I got so far gone and away from being dismissed and denigrated for so many years, so many formative years. It's like I don't remember what it's like to decide for myself what's okay for me to do. It's like somebody else gets to define that. And that was laid bare. That was in my face. That was in everybody's face. Um, and the sense of constantly apologizing for existing, feeling like everything I do is or might be wrong. Um, like I'm sorry, it's not me. I'm not trying to do this. Ah, it was just yeah, it was craziness. So and let me just see here. And another thing that I kept saying or thinking at least is why is this so familiar? This kind of fractal timeless weirdness. Why is this so familiar? I never got an answer, but I just kept thinking that. Um, and I kept glitching in a way because I would say like, why does I do you it was like I would come up with a question or something and I'd only get like part way into the question and then I would either forget what it was, realize it was irrelevant, realize there was no answer, realize I didn't need to know that or whatever it was. So it was just like, but I just kept trying to like, I need to orient, I need to put all this in a box and label it and know what's going on. And I just kept failing. Um, and there was kind of a negative tone to all of it because that's how I've lived my life for most of my life of like, this sucks. Like, that's kind of the background of my life. This sucks. And it's like every now and then it's like, oh, this is pretty cool. But I know like I'm gonna go back to this sucks because that's my baseline. That's what the universe is. It kind of sucks. Um, that is how I've been living my life, and I don't need to anymore. But like, again, it was really just thrown in my face that this is, why do you think this sucks? A magical vine is trying to help you. Three amazing women are trying to help you. An amazing guy is journeying with you. There's sparkles, there's fractals. You're having a tantrum and it's weird and it's cool. Like, and that's not cool, but like, maybe it's cool. I don't know, but it was like, it was raw, fucking raw. Um, oh, just raw, fucking raw dog life. Um, I know, I know why Zubin is so exuberant now. Uh, and if I get exuberant too, that's okay. Why not? It's a thing that happens sometimes. So it's okay. It's okay. Whatever it is, it's okay. And that goes for you too. Whoever's watching, whatever you feel right now, it's okay. You're allowed to feel it. Oh, yeah. And there's been a sense of like my heart being so, well, for a long time it was just a little walnut, just a hard little walnut. That's what it felt like. And then it started to feel more like kind of like barbed wire or sandpaper or something, like, which is better than a hard little walnut. It seems it's kind of progress because it's feeling something other than just kind of a void. But it's like loving is actually painful. Like, I do a compassion exercise where I have compassion for different kinds of people, and it kind of hurts. It's very tender and like sandpapery, you know. And so I told them, I'm like, I feel like such a hypocrite that I play the part of a loving person, and loving is actually painful for me. Like, that's messed up, isn't it? Um, but I I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit, but I'll just kind of skip ahead on this and I'll go back. But there's a sense now that the sandpaper or the walnut or the black hole or whatever you want to call it, that's an idea. And the feeling is just a feeling. It is what it is. I don't have to give it a negative or a positive um, tint, a negative or positive tinge. It's just a sensation. I can let go of that whole sandpaper, walnut, barbed wire story. It's kind of gone, so that's really great. Um, but yeah, so the one thing I could kind of orient to that was kind of restful, kind of um, felt safe, was like, oh yeah, okay, let the vine work, let the vine work, let the vine work. Like, let the ayahuasca do what it's doing. I trust it. I came here for it. It knows what it's doing. I don't need to manage this. Let the vine work. Let the vine work. And then I would forget that and go back to trying to orient and whatever. And then it'd be like, oh yeah, okay, let the vine work. Let the vine work. Let the vine work. Let the vine work. What is the vine doing? What is the vine doing? What is this? Or they'd be like, remember who you are. And like, I don't know who I am. So it was just like, kind of go off and then back to, okay, let divine work, let divine work, let divine work. And it was just that, over and over and over and over and over. Um, and it's funny, um, just a minute. Yeah. But it's funny that let divine work kind of sounds like let divine, divine, work, like let the divine do what it's going to do. And I kind of carry that with me to everyday life, like let the divine work. I don't need to manage this. And it's kind of weird because, I mean, it's so counterintuitive, it's so countercultural. The culture is like personal responsibility and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, am I responsible? Did I design the universe? Do I know what's best? So it's not even like that's necessarily a resting place. It's just an option for orientation at a given moment that feels restful. Um, but yeah, eventually I I could just lay back, breathe, and every now and then kind of giggle at how absurd I must have seemed or looked, or just, I mean, having an adult tantrum. It's pretty silly. Silliness is okay sometimes. I mean, that was kind of a container for silliness. Um, and so, yeah, it was just like, in a way, they were just breathing and occasional giggling, and that was it. And that was fine. And I think about 3 in the morning, we were supposed to end about 1, but I kind of didn't, it took 2 or 3 hours for the thing to even kick in, and then it just kept going. Um, but they were sweet, and they were mothering me, and I was just, and even though, I mean, it probably looked like, I mean, the guy afterwards, he was like, well, when your bad trip started. And I was like, it wasn't a bad trip, because there was a kind of trustful distrust, if that makes sense. Like even the distrust, I was like, there's a reason I'm feeling this level of anxiety right now. Like it needs to work its way out of my system, or be put straight in my face, or what. I mean, not in those words, but just like trust the vine, let the vine work. Whatever's happening is okay by definition, because it's happening. Um, so yeah, in a sense, I wasn't resisting, because even the resistance was part of what was happening. Does that make any sense? Probably not. It's not supposed to make sense, maybe. It's a crazy universe. But yeah, then we had the soup and some sweet rolls with vegan butter. It's pretty awesome. Um, but some of the takeaways were that maybe I'm kind of being kicked out of the shadow realm. I'm kind of being like, okay, sister, you've spent enough time digging around, dig, 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 get to the bottom of this, get to the end. It's like, it's time to kind of like start okay, now do the practices that's going to bring you more to the light. Um, it's like I felt like I needed to hit this particular bottom, and now I'm ready to climb back up. Hopefully, we'll see. Um, and the three women, we were talking the next day, and they're like, talking about my experience, and they weren't like, "Oh, here's what that means." It was like occasionally if I'd ask a question, they'd be like, "Well, maybe it means this," but ultimately, it's up to your intuition. We don't know you better than you know you. So, you know, that's true. And there was a sense of when I was a kid that I needed to make sure my parents were okay so that I felt safe. And now I kind of project that into the world at large and be like, well, if I can make the world safe, then I'll feel okay. If everybody else is okay, then I'll be okay. Then I can be okay. I can relax. And it's like, if I can't relax until everyone in the world is okay, it's not going to happen. Probably. Maybe. That'd be nice, but I can't count on it. Um, Although, and I'm not saying it's a causal, but I have noticed a shift in certain things to the positive, to what I consider the positive, um, since I've been orienting more in this way. I'm not saying I'm changing the world single-handedly, um, but just an observed coincidence. Um, yeah, shifting to light, and also a sense that I used to kind of think practice was for chumps, and this is not something I'm proud of. But when I was a kid, if I was good at something, I was good at it like that. And if I wasn't good at it, then it felt like a slog. And and so I kind of tried to stick with stuff that I was good at right away. And so I've always marveled at yoga instructors because a yoga instructor has to be so present because it's like even if they've done this routine 1,000 times, they have to be right there with you in real time, like with such patience and such presence. And I was like, man, I could never. I couldn't imagine how I could do that, right? Because that's difficult for me. My orientation is to escape the present moment, or has long been to escape the present moment. But it's like finally right now, or since the medicine experience, I think I understand now. I mean, I feel like I could actually do that. Um, I mean, and just as an example, uh, when Isla and I walked to the hotel, because Ahmed was staying in Oklahoma City and to go to an air show, so we were close by. And after the thing, I went. Um, well, to backtrack a little bit, the other participant in the uh, ayahuasca journey, he needed a ride back to Tulsa. And, it's an hour and a half drive. Um, and he was like, he'd been dropped off there with kind of faith that he'd figure out a way to get back to Tulsa. Um, and it was coming down to like taking an Uber for $400, and I was like, dude, I can take you. And even though I was like drained and I had kind of a headache and I was hungry and all this kind of stuff because of not eating enough salt, um, it was just so clear and obvious. He needed a ride. I had a car. What's the big deal, So I drove him back to Tulsa, an hour and 45 minutes because there was a construction delay, and then back to the place. And I really didn't mind it, but by the time I got back, I was just really, really tired, and I had a worsening headache, and I was starting to get nauseated, and I was like, oh man, maybe I can take a shower and take a nap and feel better by the time. But that night, somebody else was supposed to come, and so it would be like two people again, but that person canceled, so it was just gonna be me, like private ceremony, and as I was in the shower, I was thinking like, they're probably pretty tired. I don't know if it's even worth it for them to do a private ceremony. Um, I've got the quadfecta of headache, nausea, hungry and tired, where like that last night like shattered me like it was a lot for this little system. And I was like, I don't know if I'm ready for more, to be honest. Especially when like, I mean, it can like rip a hole through your, through the universe and pull you in by the asshole. It can do whatever it wants, right? Or it can rock you like a baby. You just don't know. And I was just like, I don't know if I want to roll those dice, feeling like I do right now. Um, so I was like, hey, I think I'm gonna cancel too, and just go hang out with my family at the hotel where they're staying. And yeah, is that okay? And they're like, up to you. I mean, it's your it's your journey. And they had told me earlier that like they never mind when somebody cancels because they just assume that's exactly what needs to happen. They're very chill. They're very go with the flow. They seem to really live what they what they teach, which is amazing. And they certainly never made me feel ever like a burden, like an idiot, like a jerk, like all these things that um, they were not judgmental or and they didn't seem like they were like repressing their real feelings either. I could be wrong, but that's how it seemed. Um, it's very restful to be with people like that. The meek shall inherit the earth. Um, the kingdom of heaven is here. You don't need to go looking for it. It's not some distant day. It's here, and people don't see it. That's from the Gospel of Thomas, something like that. And it's not going to come from persuasion. It's not going to come from power games. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. So yeah, I spent the night with my family in the hotel. The next morning, I was taking Isla home because she didn't want to go to the air show. Um, so we went out to the to car. I realized I needed to pee, so we walked back to the hotel, and I realized I was like, I'm walking really fast. What am I in a hurry for? And so I like slowed down, let Isla catch up to me, and walked at her pace. What a concept! I mean, such an obvious thing that's a good thing to do, but um, and when I did that, she she stopped and pointed at a yucca plant and said, "What kind of plant is that? Can you Google it?" Or I said, "I don't know." And she's like, "Can you Google it?" And I was like, "Well, I have a plant identifying app on my phone, and I still had the hotel Wi-Fi, so I took a picture and did the plant identification, and it was called yucca. I didn't know that." And she was like, "Okay, what kind of plant is that and that and that?" And I was like, I can't identify all the plants right now. I'm kind of hungry. I kind of want to go, get to the brunch place um, back in Tulsa and chill a little bit. But one plant at a time. She's like, okay. And yeah, I felt more present with her than I have in a long time. More present and less anxious. Because little kids can have very volatile feelings. They're very unpredictable, uncontrollable. Um, I mean, if you have a control mindset and you sort of punish them into submission, that's one thing. I don't, and I that's not what I want to do. So, um, it's I can feel sometimes like I'm walking on eggshells. But in this case, it was just like one moment, what do I need to do? Another moment, what's the next thing? Another moment. And so there was no sense of anxiety because every single moment, the only thing that I was concentrating on was that moment and what's the best thing to do. And it was so restful. It was so easeful. It was so fun. And I feel so much lighter than I've ever felt in my life. Because I went around with this exhaustion, this heaviness, this exhaustion all the time. Um, and today, even in the car, I was just like, every now and then I would just like howl like a wolf or, um, I don't know, just like make some happy noise. And I was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I'm howling like a wolf. What are you doing? She's like, can you stop? I was like, okay, maybe I'll dance. She's like, stop dancing. And I'm like, you can't make me. But kind of playful, you know? And we were just kind of playing in the car. Uh, and she was laughing, and it was, it was nice. It was so nice. Um, yeah, and the other thing is the experience, it brought up that aversive one, that angry one, that one that's like, why is the universe like this? Why does it have to be like this? Why is this? Why that? Why this? I can make the universe so much better. You shouldn't put kids in this situation, you know. Um, so that one came up, and it kind of for a while, for until basically until the car ride home, it had put an aversive spin on the entire experience, the entire ayahuasca. This ayahuasca. It's like, why was that so hard? Why did it kick my ass? Why did it explode my reality? It was so mean. Why is it like that? Made me act like an idiot. Blah 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 blah. Um, and I allowed that anger. I was like, oh, yeah, I hear you. I hear you. That's tough. That's, I understand that. Yeah, it was almost like the ayahuasca like allowed my angry one to attach to it and to kind of give it my anger. Um, and and so I kind of let it have its say, but it wasn't unconscious anger. It wasn't anger mixed with shame. It wasn't anger mixed with more aversion to like, get that anger away. I don't like that anger. It's just anger. Um, and it just kind of played itself out. And then it was like, oh, that experience was fucking awesome. Wow. It gave me just what I needed. What? That's amazing. How did, like, what kind of universe just gives you exactly what you need when you need it? Um, yeah, it was, it, once you kind of take the aversive lens off, it's not like grasping lens replaces it, where it's like, I need more ayahuasca so I can feel this again. But it's just like, this is okay. What happened is okay. This is okay. Here it is. And it's funny, Angelo just made a video called, let me see if I can find it. Total Exertion. What the heck is it? So he's talking about like how vibrant reality is when you're not, whereas there's not this big smear of past, future, this, that. And I was like, yeah, that's what this feels like. It's like, it's so present, it's so light. And I don't feel like yeah, I feel like there's more light that I can be. There's more stuff stored in the body that still can still work itself out. But my God, what a step that was! It's like a quantum leap. It's like a solid rocket booster. It's like, thank you. It's just crazy, crazy awesome that I live in a universe where a vine can throw all that in your face, and it's just what you need. And oh man, I've been talking for almost an hour. Okay. And yeah, so what I'm gonna do from now on, and that's why I want to watch this every week. It's gonna have to be an hour, but whatever. Um, talk a lot. Uh, is remember that, like, as a human, which apparently I am right now, kind of, whatever. Practice is really what it's not for chumps. Practice is practice is presence, and presence deepens itself. That's pretty. I like that. Yeah, that's it. Love you. Bye bye.